This is the Weber Spirit E-425, and the first thing that hit me wasn't the burners or the fancy features, it was the feeling that this is a real tool. No rattles, no tinny panels, just a tight build and a confident click when I turn the knobs. I could tell right away it wasn't trying to be flashy. It's built to cook and it feels like it. On looks, it's clean and monochrome. The glossy black lid sets off the matte cabinet, and those two red knobs for the Sear zone pop just enough to remind me where the extra power lives. The cabinet hides the propane tank and keeps the front tidy, while the side tables feel solid, not wobbly. The handle stays cool to the touch even after a long session. The knobs have a smooth, firm resistance. Turn to light, feel the spark, and the flame lines up consistently across the burners. The grates are porcelain enameled cast iron, which basically means cast iron with a glass-like coating, so they hold heat well and clean up easier than raw iron. The cookbox is cast aluminum, which won't rust and holds heat nicely. Everything about the touch points feels thought out. From my experience, setup took patience. The parts fit together without fighting me, but it's not a 5-minute job. I used the 3D instructions app to make it smoother, and I'd plan for a couple of hours if you're careful like I am. Once assembled, lighting is simple. Snapjet ignition let me spark each burner one by one with a press and twist, which I like because I can set zones from the start. Zone cooking just means different heat areas on the same grill. High heat on one side for searing, medium or low on the other for finishing or keeping things warm. That's where 4 burners matter. I can run a hot side, a medium side, and a cooler buffer without juggling pans. Sear testing was my first real trial. I opened up the Sear zone. Those 2 red knobs control extra boost burners that stack heat in the center, and dropped 2 1.25-inch ribeyes on after a solid preheat. The sound told me most of what I needed to know, a hard, immediate hiss with no lag, and the grates didn't lose their bite when the cold meat hit. I got dark, crisp sear marks and a quick crust, and the temperature rebounded fast when I lifted the lid to flip. That recovery time is big. It means I'm cooking, not steaming. I've cooked strip steaks, lamb chops, and thick-cut zucchini on that same zone, and it's been consistent every time. For indirect cooks, I turned the center burners off and kept the outer ones medium-low. I did a spatchcock chicken with a simple salt, pepper, and lemon rub, placed in the middle, and let the heat roll around it like an oven. The skin rendered, the thighs hit temp without drying the breast. And I didn't have to babysit. On another day, I ran baby back ribs low and slow, holding a steady low temperature, using just the far left and far right burners. If you're new, indirect just means the food isn't sitting over the flame. It gives you time and even cooking, which helps avoid flare-ups and burnt edges. Key features that stood out to me are pretty straightforward. The Sear zone has real punch and makes a noticeable difference on thick cuts. The grates hold heat and clean easily. A quick brush while they're hot and a light oiling keeps them in great shape. The flavorizer bars under the grates do double duty. They shield the burners from grease and vaporized drippings, which adds that grilled flavor. The side rails support Weber Works snap-on accessories. I use the extra tool hooks and a bottle holder, and it's handy to keep tongs and spatulas at arm's reach. The warming rack has been clutch for buns and asparagus when the main grates are crowded. The cabinet hides the tank and the grease tray, and the grease system funnels drippings into a disposable pan. The all-weather casters roll well on smooth concrete, and the built-in tool storage keeps things tidy. It's not flawless, and this is where the lived with it part matters. The back of the cabinet is mostly open, and after a windy rain, I found water in the bottom and a sloshy grease pan. Not ideal. Covering the grill solves most of it, but if you store outdoors without cover, be ready for a cleanout. The lid thermometer is fine for a quick glance, but reads the air up high, not the grate level. When I care about precision, like ribs or baking pizza on a stone, I use a digital probe at the grate. The casters are fine on flat patio concrete, but not great on uneven pavers. Moving it over bumps takes some effort. The side tables don't fold, so measure your space because the width stays full-time. And the propane weight scale is helpful to guess fuel level, but it's not exact, so I still keep a backup tank. Day to day, it's the reliability that's won me over. Heat is even across the grates when I'm not using the Sear zone, so smash burgers or chicken thighs cook uniformly. Preheat is quick and predictable. Flare-ups are rare because the grease management actually does its job, and when I do get a pop of flame, a small turn on the knob calms it down. Cleanup is easy after a hot burn-off and a brush. The stainless side tables wipe down clean, though the accessory rails can trap a bit of grime if I'm messy. I like that parts feel serviceable. Burners, bars, grates, if something wears out in a few years, I can replace it instead of replacing the whole grill. That gives me confidence in how long I can keep using it. In my opinion, the E-425 hits that sweet spot between size and flexibility. It fits a normal patio, but feels roomy when I'm cooking for a family or a few friends. It's perfect for someone who wants to sear steaks hard, roast whole birds, and still have space for veggies without shuffling trays inside and out. From my experience, the cooking performance feels close to higher-tier grills I've used, without the bulk or the extra showy bits. The cast aluminum cookbox and porcelain enamel finish hold up to heat and weather, and the ignition keeps working like it should. I'd recommend this for home cooks who want dependable heat and a true sear zone, people who cook for 4 or more on weekends, and anyone who values straightforward controls over gimmicks. If you live somewhere with wet or windy weather, get a quality cover on day one or park it under an awning to avoid that open back rain issue. If you're new to gas grilling, the learning curve is short. Preheat longer than you think for best sear. Use zones to control the cook, and keep a digital probe handy for accuracy when it counts. The parts that became my daily favorites are simple. The sear zone has real bite and gives me steakhouse quality crust without fuss. The 4-burner layout makes zone cooking intuitive, so I can run hot, medium, and indirect at the same time. The grates hold heat like a champ, but don't punish me on cleanup. The ignition lights every time, which sounds basic, but anyone who's fought with finicky sparkers knows how nice that is. And the cabinet keeps the patio looking clean by hiding the tank and the grease system. When it's dry, it's spotless. In conclusion, the Weber Spirit E-425 feels like the right kind of upgrade. It's not trying to be a showpiece. It's a dependable, capable grill that I trust for weeknight dinners and weekend hangs. The sear zone delivers, the heat distribution is even, and the layout gives me control. Cover it, add a probe thermometer, and you're set for a long run of solid cooks. If this video helped you, hit subscribe, drop your questions or your own E-425 tips in the comments, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thank you for watching.